3 years ago.
Put out the fire! Call the police quickly! It's fire! Help! The madam and her elder daughter are still trapped in the fire! Who? Hey! Young master! You can't enter! Don't stop me! My mother and sisters are still there! Mrs. and Mrs. have... How could it be? Xian! Dad! Where did you run to? I already told you to keep the account books properly. Those people burnt to destroy the account books. That's why your mother and sisters were killed. Tell me, where have you been? Xian, I was kidnapped. Come and pay the ransom to save me. If she hadn't tricked him with her stupid joke, how could someone have taken advantage of the opportunity and burned everything down? How could someone have switched the account books and put his father in jail? How could my mother and sister be tortured to death in such a cruel way? Mr. M.O., regarding the report on tax evasion and bribery by Huang Chao. From the beginning, we have continuously been unable to provide bookkeeping. Now we can only ask you to join us. Okay, I get it. Dad. Xian, don't worry about me. You must stay alive. Find the criminal and take revenge for our Mo family. That night, something happened to the dynasty. He was convinced that she had tricked him out, and no matter how she explained, he refused to believe a word of it. She didn't know what his relationship was with Dynasty CEO Mo Zhenjiang. She only knew that he hated her to the core.
But you were not kidnapped at all. Just because of your joke, my family was destroyed.
In the past few years, she has been wondering who sent him the text message, but there is still no answer. Xian, I really didn't send that text message. Gu Xiaoran was squeezed so hard that the air in her lungs was squeezed out, and she spoke breathlessly. You're still lying. He didn't want to hear those unnecessary explanations. Then, why are you at the kidnapping site? I heard that day that you will be going on a date with the girl you like there. I just want to see secretly what the girl you like looks like. He snorted coldly, interrupting her words. He didn't want to hear the repeated lies anymore. You only want me. Since you want me so much, now I will fulfill your wish. His hands wandered over her body and an inexplicable feeling of soreness, numbness, and tingling spread. Even though this is your engagement night, this feeling was completely different from his direct and forceful plundering yesterday, and she couldn't help but gasp. No, if Han Kai knows, he will kill my father. There was a hint of playfulness in the corner of his eyes. Gu Xiaoran was so ashamed and angry that she wished she could die immediately. You did it on purpose. You are the one who designed the trap to lure Han Kai using Xin He to attack Sheng Tang in order to save my father. I was forced to get engaged to Han Kai. Then you use this method to make Han Kai hate me so that I will be completely isolated and have no one to depend on. Gu Xiaoran cried out in despair. This is how you get revenge on me. Mo Qing, you are so despicable and shameless. Gu Xiaoran suppressed the hatred in her heart and glared at the tall and handsome man in front of her. Mo Qing raised the corners of his mouth slightly and smiled without expressing any opinion. "So how noble are you, darling?" Suddenly he leaned down, his lips touching her red lips. "Don't you enjoy it when you do it with me?" Gu Xiaoran's facial expression changed slightly. She immediately pushed him away and broke free from his embrace. "Move! I can still make up for my mistakes. I can go to the engagement party now and explain it to Han Ke." After she pushed Han Ke away, she never showed up at any engagement party again, not even to see off the guests. If I can get there before the engagement ceremony is completely over, there might still be some hope. After letting go of him, Gu Xiaoran found that her legs were so weak that she couldn't stand. If she hadn't been holding onto the wall, she would have fallen to the ground. "Ah, really?" Mo Qing was very satisfied with her reaction. He smiled faintly, then lay down on the sofa.
The man sitting on the sofa was wearing an expensive and classy casual suit.
Gu Xiaoran ignored the pain and fatigue in her body. She didn't have time to argue with him, so she hurriedly left and rushed out of the villa. The moment I opened the door of the villa, I was stunned by the scene in front of me. Outside the door, a man and a woman were entangled. Both of them were in dishevel. What? The woman had a hot body and was heavily made up, and it was hard to tell what she would look like without makeup. Her bright red lips were half open as she kissed the man's chest wildly and eagerly pulled his belt. The man closed his eyes and leaned against the wall near the door, looking comfortable and enjoying himself. "Hey, isn't this my fiancé?" Gu Xiaoran came to her senses at this time and suddenly found that the man with his eyes closed, enjoying the intimate service of the hot and beautiful woman, was her fiancé, Han Ke. "Han Ke, why are you—" At the engagement party, he gently held her waist and spoke softly, which confused her for a moment, thinking that he might not be as bad as she had seen in the past. But the terrible situation before her made her feel ridiculous for the confusion she once had. "Tonight is our wedding night and my wife won't sleep with me. What's wrong with me looking for another woman?" Han Ke looked at Gu Xiaoran's angry face and the playful smile in his eyes became even stronger. "Han Ke, we agreed that our engagement was just a show." Gu Xiaoran cursed inwardly. "Han Ke, you're such an idiot." He was being played around by others, but he still thought he had everything under control. She married Han Ke just to save the prosperous Sheng Tang and her father. She had no other hopes. No matter how ridiculous Han Ke was, she would ignore him. "But now, I regret it. You have slept with another man. Why do you pretend to be pure in front of me?" Although Gu Xiaoran, this little bitch, is shameless. If he can rely on her and curry favor with Mo Qing, he will be able to thrive in the business world in the future. "Han Ke, you don't come here. You promised me that you wouldn't enter my private residence." Gu Xiaoran looked at Han Ke as if he were a monster. Gu Xiaoran is extremely beautiful, fresh and lovely, like a budding snow lotus. The first time I saw her, I fell in love with her. However, he used all the tricks he could to coax the girl, but Gu Xiaoran just ignored him. In order to get her, he dragged Gu Zhengrong into the water at all costs. His wish was finally fulfilled, and today's engagement ceremony was the most glorious day of his life. Now, looking at her indifferent face, some of me was filled with anger, both original and interest. No matter how she hooked up with Mo Qing, she is now his fiancée. He just couldn't believe that he couldn't make her surrender in front of him and lower her proud head. Han Ke gritted his teeth in hatred when he thought of the humiliation he suffered tonight because of Gu Xiaoran. "Then you come here." "Han Ke, let go of me." At this time, Gu Xiaoran's long hair was spread out like a black waterfall. Her face was smooth and fair and her lips were light-colored, so tender that I really wanted to taste them. The small dress outlines the exquisite curves of her body. All of this made his blood boil and he couldn't control himself. Mo Qing was looking at the two people in front of him with a frown, and the little woman was being bullied by her own fiancé. Everything was going according to his plan, but he did not feel the slightest bit of pleasure that his plan had succeeded. His tongue moved to his cheek, his eyes slowly narrowed. He said to the phone, Hankei is an eyesore, get rid of him. Hankei, if you dare to touch me, try. Hankei, let go of me. The agitation in his body tonight was not caused by the beautiful girl who was creating all kinds of stimulation on him, but by her. But this woman made that damn condition. Why not? Hankei's cell phone rang. A faint smile appeared on Mo Qing's lips. Hankei was already starting to get angry when he heard his phone ringing, interrupting his good intentions. Who is it? Which idiot gave you my personal phone number and didn't handle work messages? He was immediately furious. He took the phone and yelled in a bad tone. Gu Xiaoran was woken up and intuitively felt that the call was related to Mo Qing. He is playing a game of cat and mouse. Li Yiji? When Hankei saw the two words Lin Yiji, his hands trembled and his phone almost fell to the ground. Assistant Lin, I didn't know that was your number, sorry. He immediately put on a flattering smile, as if Lin Yiji was right in front of him. Huang Chao would like to work with you on a project. Are you ready for an interview now? Yes, I'm free. Of course I'm free. Hankei's eyes lit up. All the orders from Dynasty were big orders. Gu Xiaoran couldn't stand watching it anymore, and she immediately kicked Hankei's part. Hankei's face turned purple. I was so angry that I was shaking all over. Hankei was extremely excited as there might be a big deal soon. However, when he was suddenly kicked, he couldn't bear the pain in his area and became even more angry with Gu Xiaoran. Hankei was in and glared at Gu Xiaoran fiercely. Gu Xiaoran, you! Gu Xiaoran glared back without showing any sign of weakness. It's just a small lesson. I hope Mr. Han will abide by the agreement in the future and not enter my private residence without permission. Thinking about what Hankei did to her, her expression suddenly changed. She immediately got up, entered the villa. He looked at the villa in front of him and gritted his teeth in hatred. There was a pause on the other end of the phone before a sound came out. Mr. Han, are you okay? That's okay. Thank you for your concern, Assistant Lin. Our cooperation. I'll be there soon. When she opened the villa door, the sound of applause shook her ears. She narrowed her eyes and looked towards the source of the sound. She glanced at Mo Qing indifferently. Well, it seems that even if I don't save you, you won't let Hankei touch you. That familiar figure fell into Gu Xiaoran's eyes like a huge thunderbolt striking her heart, breaking her heart into pieces. She looked up the moment she appeared in the doorway. Gu Xiaoran could feel the mocking look he gave her. Gu Xiaoran's palms were icy cold. Why is he still here? She glared fiercely at the extremely handsome face in front of her. Mo Qing, is this what you want? He tortured her until she was neither human nor ghost, and then came here to watch her being humiliated. Gu Xiaoran really didn't want to see his hateful smile anymore, so she ignored him and walked up the stairs. She would rather endure Hankei's meanness than be a woman toyed with by him. Why should I regret it? Mr. Mo, please come back quickly. Gu Xiaoran didn't want to argue with Mo Qing, so she walked towards the room. Gu Xiaoran's mind was in a mess. Excessive shock and uncontrollable anger hit Gu Xiaoran's bottom line of tolerance. Mo Qing, what are you doing? Ah! He grabbed the woman's hand tightly and dragged her away from the stairs. His body was unable to withstand the force of the sudden change in direction, and as his hands were pulled back, his legs gave out and he fell. Mo Qing rushed forward to catch her, his eyes quickly scanning her. Gu Xiaoran's body trembled and she froze. My mind went blank and I couldn't think. I didn't even know how to react. I just looked at her closely, looking into her dark eyes. Okay, I'll see how long you can last. 5:30 in the morning. Jingle! The phone screen lit up, and an alarm came from her phone. Exam! Get up! Exam! Get up! Gu Xiaoran immediately got up from bed. Today is the exam that will determine whether I can graduate, so I have to go to school immediately. She grabbed the dress she wore yesterday and was about to put it on when she remembered that her panties had been torn by the black beast and thrown into the trash can in the Dihao guest room. But how can I wear this when taking the exam? Her house was burned down and she could only buy 2 sets of clothes temporarily and put them in the dormitory where her father temporarily lived. If she rushed to her father's place to change clothes at this time, her father would definitely catch her and ask her endless questions. I need to go to the changing room and see if there's anything I can wear. Gu Xiaoran rubbed her forehead with a headache. Gu Xiaoran immediately climbed out of bed. Walked to the door. There are all kinds of new clothes in the closet next to it. This was all prepared by Mo Qing, especially for me. Luckily, there were still some regular clothes. The others were too flashy. Gu Xiaoran took a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. They were all her size and nothing was amiss. She opened the drawer in a very cowardly manner. There are dozens of sets of underwear neatly arranged in the drawer, and all of them have two characteristics. Expensive, sexy. These bras are really beautiful and have great fits. However, Gu Xiaoran saw that there was a small note written on it. The panties in the drawer are the sexy style that I like. Mo Qing bastard. I wonder how many women he has slept with to have such vision.